They're trying to get in! They're trying to get in!
Don't go to the door! Eric! No,
No, it isn't! Jamie, get away from the door!
No! Jamie, tell
Come on!
This could be Eric trying to get back in here! Oh, God, they're out there! They're there! Stay
Just
in!
keep down!
Eric! No!
Shit!
No, don't! Eric, you are!
Jamie, keep her back!
Stay back! Come on, stay in here! Jamie, don't! It's okay. Michael, put that goddamn camera down!
I will!
I'm gonna wrap it around your neck!
All right, Mom. Hey everybody, welcome to MovieStrange, the podcast or videocast where my two friends here, Uncle Al and Drew Gould, are cult movie enthusiasts, and they bring, each one of them tries to get me to watch one of their films. And the way we do that is they bring two films to the podcast. They each give me 4 words to describe the film. I pick between the 8 words, and we do that movie the following week. Last week, here were the 4 words I got for each film. So I got UFO, VHS, birthday realistic, and I got brother, sister, zombie, Oz. I picked UFO, VHS, birthday realistic.
Yes, you did.
I tend to be picking all of Uncle Al's films. I don't know why. It's no bias. I'm not trying to do that, but that's what's been happening. So Uncle Al, why don't you tell me the film I picked?
So
is it really? Can we call this a film, or can we call this? Okay.
You picked the McPherson Tape, which came out, I think it was 1986, maybe.
I think 89.
89.
Yep.
Okay, it was had a budget of $6,000. It was shot on VHS, and
Yes,
this is
it
a
was.
wonderful Blu-ray transfer of a shot on VHS film. So
That's actually a transfer of this film I watched.
yes,
That's a okay.
this was transferred on a 3 1/4-inch master tape.
Okay. Before we get started, let me just say that the film's only an hour, right? For 63
It's
minutes?
minutes.
This came out before The Blair Witch or after?
This came out significantly
Like 10
earlier
years
than the Blair
before.
Witch. Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's,
And
I have to say, that intrigued me a tad. Because
Some
Blair
people
Witch-
consider this the real first found footage film.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Given that it came out about, 9 years or 7 years? When did Blair Witch come out? 99?
10 years later. It was 99.
So this came out 10 years before Blair Witch, which is the quintessential found footage film. I thought it would... Okay, so I'm just going to say that. Let's preface it with that. Let's take a look at a trailer. There's actually a trailer for this.
Happy birthday to you! Wait, make a wish. Don't blow yet. And then you can tell me. No, don't tell me.
Hold on. Oh, it's working. Forget it. Oh, swear to God, you're gonna break your neck with that thing. I'm gonna break your neck with that thing. Holy shit, you're right. What the hell was that? Holy shit. What the hell is that?
He's got him! He shot one of them dead. It's right outside there.
Are you sure it's not back there?
It's not back there. I just took a look in there.
Get out! And I didn't learn how to.
I don't want to give anything away. Oh my
I
God.
think you saw all the good parts in that.
I think I did. Why don't you give us a synopsis of the film? Are you going to just read the back, or are you going to explain? Can you?
I mean, I think there's a info card at the beginning of the film that I think perfectly encapsulate this. So it says the uncut video footage you're about to see contains the most important evidence yet made public regarding the UFO abduction phenomenon. This footage is from Northwood's UFO Case 77. On the evening of October 8th, 1983, a young man videotaped his niece's 5th birthday. As the night's strange occurrences took place, he kept his camera running, recording the entire event. And I mean, that really is the movie.
That pretty much encapsulates the whole thing.
It's seemingly real time for the most part. You see, I don't know how much we want to spoil it, but they
let me just throw this up because I don't know how not to spoil this, but let's just see if I put this up first, because if anybody hasn't seen it, stop right now. Go back.
Go
you've seen
go
it,
and buy the Bleeding Skull AGFA release on Blu-ray.
It only takes an hour to watch, maybe 63 minutes.
You're on mute, Jew.
It's not that tough a watch.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, okay. Anything else before we jump in?
No.
I'm just glad he noticed I was muted. I thank you.
You're welcome. I try to be considerate.
Thank you.
Sometimes.
I did read some backstory about this, and it turns out this film got lost or something.
Yeah, there's a warehouse fire.
Yeah, parts of it came up on alien abduction shows that were on TV as actual alien abduction.
Well, yeah, apparently as the VHS copies that were the only ones left after the fire destroyed most of those, and the masters and the negative and everything, apparently somebody in passing those VHS copies around cut off the opening and closing credits. And so people really did spend real years thinking it was an actual alien abduction footage or something, which is,
shocking.
It's just laughable, just in the sense that the aliens themselves, they look like little kids in costumes, which is not a criticism of the movie, because it was only $6,500 and all that sort of stuff. And if you watch the whole credits, you see the little girls with their masks off, and they're adorable. But honestly, the movie does not convince me that it's really aliens.
Yeah, I think if, say you're going to a convention or whatever, you're going to a horror convention, and you get a third or fourth generation copy of this on VHS. Gotcha. It might look a little real. It might look better. You would probably not see the aliens as clearly as the Blu-ray. You would see I don't know what you would see, but
well, it's funny you say that, because in order to approximate the experience of watching something that would because I knew it's going to be. I think they even said it's one of those cameras on your shoulder.
Yeah,
type of video cameras, so it's going to be super low res, VHS, all that stuff that they would expect. I actually watched it on my phone.
Nice,
because I wanted to sort of approximate just how. Because I could put it on the big television and have. I guess
probably look better on your phone. I guarantee you look better.
Yeah, I just thought it's going to be easier for me to see any details, and also the experience of it. If somebody made that movie today, which of course they already have 100 times anyway, they'd shoot it on their phone, because that's what you would encounter the aliens, and that's what you'd be shooting the birthday party on and stuff. So that made it a little fun.
Okay. Well, they made a movie called Alien Abduction based on this tape, right?
It's not the same guy.
Oh, he did. I didn't know that. Yeah. Same person.
Yeah, he directed the remake, which I have not seen that.
All right. Now, Blair Witch created the whole idea where the thing about the Blair Witch was all the stuff. I think the Blair Witch was the internet was just starting. So they created this whole lore.
It was a marketing
Blair
campaign.
Witch. Yeah. The marketing campaign around the Blair Witch was about the internet, and people believed that this Blair Witch existed.
Right.
So I guess this could have been happening when this tape, if what you're saying is true, that generations of the tape, people started watching it really, but so we separate ourselves from that for a second. The problem I have with any of these found footage, and they bring it up a lot in this film, which is just drop the camera and help us with what's going on. How in the world can you not get past the fact that the guy never took the camera off the shoulder? So I was completely out of the film. Luckily, it's only even with only 63 minutes, I kept going, oh,
yeah,
I have another 40 minutes left.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. It does drag. Yeah.
And I ultimately I knew it was going to happen. I knew the camera was going to be put down just like it was done. And you're going to finally see the aliens, which are dressed as kids in suits, right? There was no gore in the film. It's all implied gore. Nothing even. People get hypnotized or something. I can't quite figure out.
Yeah, they're telepathically controlled, trying to let the aliens in.
Somebody's telling you to just go and open the door.
Yeah. Open the door. Open the door. Friendly voices are telling me open the door. I'm surprised that this is one that you would even bring to the thing.
I think I brought it because it's different. It's very it's like a pure indie film. Some guy shot it on VHS. It has a reputation You know,
I think that's because it ended up on all those shows where people thought it was legit.
Yeah. And I think one of the funny things is you know, he remade the movie, and then I read that, you know, people thought him remaking the movie was a disinformation campaign to disprove this film. So, you know.
Whew. So people still thought that this actually happened.
Supposedly people still think this is real.
Well, the McPherson tape's an inside job, that sort of thing. Yeah.
But I mean,
I think for me the one thing, I think they hide the edits fairly well, and I really like the naturalistic improv acting. Like except for Michael, who's the director behind the camera, saying "oh shit" a lot. I think everybody does a really good job at improv and acting throughout the film, and it makes it feel real.
I'll say this: it felt like someone had a VHS camera at their table, because you hear a conversation. Like the mother's talking to the girlfriend, and you hear her go, "I'm just so glad I met you." You know, that seemed like it felt real. It definitely felt like they were shooting a VHS thing at their table. And we just did this whole podcast with my brother where we talk about shooting VHS at our Thanksgiving table. So it's all working. And you're right, everybody around them seemed real until the shit starts happening. And then it became like too obvious. Like I knew the two guys.
I think it got
spoiler
obvious.
alert, but the two brothers were going to go disappear, right?
Yeah.
But the problem I had was the only one left in the house that could help everybody was the guy with the camera on his shoulder, and he never took it off his shoulder. And even his mother said about 5 times in the film, "Will you get that effing camera off your shoulder?"
Yeah, but she's a drunk, so maybe we can't trust her directly.
I don't know. I mean,
well, you know, his character didn't listen to anyone. Like he wouldn't listen to his brothers about the leaky roof or any of the other stuff. So why would he listen to them about taking the camera off his shoulder? I mean, he was supposedly going to school, so I'm assuming it was for some sort of videography degree. I mean, you know, we can make up justifications for all this stuff, but
that's all it is.
I
was fine with it. It didn't bother me that much.
Fine with
but
what?
With him not wanting to put the camera down.
Really?
Yeah.
He's got his niece in there. He's got his sister-in-law in there. He's got his mother in there. And they're freaking out because there might be aliens in the house. And all you want him to do is drop the camera and help us out. And he can't do it. Come on.
Well, these are the same people that said, "Oh my God, we saw aliens. Something crazy is happening. I shot someone, blah, blah, blah. Let's have birthday cake. Let's open presents." I mean, there was definitely some moments that you said, this feels like a real family having dinner, into these are movie characters being dumb. And that wasn't.
Well, it was all about, we got to stay calm. Let's play fish.
Right. Go. And
stay calm.
And then I think that, I don't know if it's somebody's mom or the grandmother or whatever. She's like, "Is it 2 of a kind or 3 of a kind? How the fuck would you pay Go Fish with 3 of a kind? It's ridiculous." I guess maybe she said that because she was stressed, but
I thought they were playing gin rummy. Wait, that's the thing? Fish is only 2? Go Fish is only 2?
Well, yeah.
I think it was Go Fish.
It was Go Fish. Because they were trying to match cards.
If it was a different game, then that's just a tribute to the realism of the audience.
But I didn't realize Go Fish is not 3 of a kind. It's 2 of a kind?
Well, you got to get pairs.
Yeah. I was trying to go, what kind of camera does that guy have? First of all, these movies where the camera light stays on forever, number one, drives me crazy. I didn't even bring us up in The Descent. We talk about The Descent. Those lights stay on all the time.
He didn't keep the camera light on all the time, though, on this.
Yeah, he shut it off when
he had to shut it off for the battery.
Well, it was allegedly I guess the flashlights helped. So, but there were definitely a lot of parts of the movie which is just, it's dark and I hear running noises and it wasn't compelling.
There is a ton of dark. There's nothing going on in the frame.
Well, see, it's funny because I have 2 separate opinions about this movie. One of them is that as a movie, it's really boring. It doesn't hold my attention. I kept looking over the shoulders of the characters, hoping I'd see something outside the window.
Exactly.
The first few times they say something like, "Oh, did you see that red flash?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't see it. What are we getting excited about here? I don't understand."
Well, there was a red flash in the kitchen at one point.
But I mean, like, I didn't. It all was sort of just blech. And the thing is, I sort of wanted things to happen, like when the little girl's opening presents and she takes a break and she goes away. I said, oh, maybe we'll hear a blood curdling scream.
Right, exactly.
Or she'll come back terrified. No, she just came back, ate more cake, that sort of stuff. But the thing about the movie is that, like, I wish it had done things differently and better, just in terms of how it told its story. But a lot of those things, it's not their fault. A lot of those things that were done that I would recommend in this movie are stuff that the Blair Witch people did, whether it's from marketing and making it the premise is that this is real, but also, you know, when you see those actors pop up in the tents in the middle of the night screaming, it's because the filmmakers are out in the woods making scary noises and they didn't tell them. And so there were a lot of things that could have done to make it more realistic.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the little girl going to the back of the room and you didn't hear a blood curdling scream, right? Because I said, okay, I'm watching this because I'm on this cult movie podcast and something's going to happen.
Right,
I'm going to see somebody,
right.
I'm going to see some guts coming out. And when that little girl went to the back, I go, oh, here it comes.
Right.
Something. And guess what? Nope. And even, okay, spoiler alert, not that I need to do this because I don't need to do this. I knew as soon as that camera, when they said, finally put the camera down, and he placed it perfectly pointing at the kitchen, I knew the aliens were going to come walking out of that back room. I knew it. And I knew nothing was going to happen at that point. I knew no guts were going to spill. Nothing. It's like, why am I?
Wait, but doesn't it make that more? Doesn't it make it feel more realistic though? Because it's avoiding all the typical like movie stuff that you would maybe do.
I wanted, you know, it's funny you say that.
Compelling characters and a story and tension and
God
drama.
forbid something actually happened to me. No,
I was waiting avoid most of those things. That is true.
Yes, it's, you know, they're shooting at the ceiling and they caught. No, yes, I wanted cliche. I wanted guts hanging out. It's a cult movie podcast, so I'm thinking I'm going to see the little girl's going to become an alien. Something. No. Now,
I do. Yeah, but yet in real life, the little girl wouldn't become an alien. She'd be abducted, let's say.
Well,
like
if you look at the trailer for the movie based on this, like backs are bending in half, so like the aliens are doing nasty shit to these people.
I mean, if you want to see a good alien abduction movie, just see Fire in the Sky. That's like a great one.
Okay, but this is the one you picked as a cult film to make me. I wasn't uncomfortable at all. I'm like, okay, what? I think my brother John could watch this film and be like,
I'm
no
sure
problem.
He would probably enjoy it.
Right, because the little girl was fine at the end. Nothing happened.
Look, here's the thing. I think like this movie as a movie to me is a really missed opportunity, which is a positive thing for me to say about the movie, because the premise of it is something that, you know, it was worth making this movie for what they tried to do. They just couldn't do it. They didn't make it work. Blair Witch did a similar kind of thing and made it work. But I said before, I have sort of two opinions about the movie. One of them is that this is a bad movie and was boring. But the other part of it is that it's actually a really interesting part of the history of these kind of movies.
Okay.
I mean, this is not a new thing. Like epistolary storytelling is, you know, you read a novel that's based, it's the letters and writings of these fictional characters.
You and these big words you throw out. Okay, great.
Just let them flow through you.
Okay.
And so there's a history of this, and then in broadcast, like this belongs in, especially because it actually became something that was credible. This belongs in the
conversation about
more like the ancestry of the War of the Worlds broadcast by Orson Welles.
Oh, true.
Of the last broadcasts. I don't know if you guys saw, there was a thing, I want to say 83 or something. It was called Special Bulletin, and it was a TV movie that was local reporters talking about an incoming nuclear attack.
Oh, yeah.
But it was very, very real, and NBC actually had to put disclaimers on either side with the ads to say you're watching a dramatized thing. So
that's, you know what? That's a good point, because War of the Worlds and Orson Welles, what was that one? Was that War of the Worlds where that was the radio broadcast? Yeah. Right.
But see, what this movie does is then it actually finds itself. It's not good. Like, I can't recommend that you watch it, but I think it's neat to learn about it, because it becomes, it's not the reason that it splits, but it becomes part of two other sort of lines of entertainment and of genre and everything. One of them is all the extraterrestrial stuff. I mean, you know, you got X-Files and all this stuff is inspired by what's his name, Whitney, whatever. And then you've got movies like you mentioned that are better movies. Like I have Fire in the Sky, Dark Skies, Extraterrestrial. Those are all abduction movies.
There's one that came out in the 70s or 80s with James Earl Jones, where he and his wife get abducted in New Hampshire. That's completely freaky. I can't even remember the name of it.
I don't know that one.
Took me out as a kid. what's his name? More cowbell. Who's that? Who's
No, Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken did one where he gets abducted. That's a completely freaky film about abduction, right?
But see, that was probably a story that had stakes and rising tension, and that it was satisfying. Look, I mean, here's what I was taking notes about this film, and I said it almost feels unfair to judge it since it's 31 years old. It's 10 years before Blair Witch, and I said this before. I like that it's ambitious, but it's still a lot of nothing. And watching people walk around, and I could not stand to hear the cameraman moan again. That reminded me why editing exists. You know, like, I don't know, you know, the Navajo Indians, there was an experiment done. They were given movie cameras and they go ahead and shoot a movie. And what they did was shoot nothing was edited. So if they were telling a story, but if the story was they walked from the store 2 blocks to the other, to the guy's house, they actually showed the whole 2-block walk. Well, you just and so like you end up when you see that it's boring to our eyes. We like editing and we have editing, but you end up listening to the noises the guy's making, which are, I guess, in fear. Except you haven't seen anything scary, so it's not. I mean, it's nothing I'd recommend anybody sit through. But I think it was a really neat choice for the podcast.
You know, I think it's worth a watch just to see it.
You know,
if you have an extra hour where you're bored and you have access to it, I say check it out. Especially if you're like an X-Files fan or you like alien abduction. And there's like sort of a connection to Twin Peaks here because, you know, they talk about Project Blue Book and the infographic at the beginning.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah.
And Major Briggs he's a part of Project Blue Book or like the future part of it. So
yes, he is.
And Project Blue Book is a real thing. It was a real thing.
You look back at the Orson Welles thing. And you go, how in the world could those people think it was actually an alien invasion? How ignorant or how naive are those people? And then yet, here we go. This comes out in 89, and people, because they saw it on some show that said there's aliens, believed it. Blair Witch comes out. Everybody buys into the marketing of this thing. So it's just your brain wants to believe things that may or may not be true, and you buy right into this stuff. And this film...
Well, I think if you're following UFOs, you're primed to believe.
Of course, and this is what I was interested about this when I researched the film. It was all the backstory stuff. The fact that he realized that there was a fire, everything got destroyed, but the one VHS made it. There's a lot of great lore around this film that makes it interesting, but the film as itself is awful. and all I wanted to do is just take that. I wanted to end. It's like, okay, take the camera off and go help your mother, for God's sake.
I do have a technical question that you might know, and this also would have been an opportunity to edit something into the movie. He comes back, this cameraman, and he says, "I have video of a spaceship with aliens," and we know what he saw. I mean, it looked like a low budget movie effect, but that's what he saw. Right. Is there some reason? I know the power's out, so he can't take the tape out and put it in a VCR. But can't you preview those films on the viewfinder? Like, can he take the most disbelieving person in the family and say, "Look,
he would have to
here's
stop
the video
recording.
I shot of aliens"?
Yes, absolutely.
He would have to stop recording first, though.
Right, he'd have to stop recording.
That's the problem.
But he'd have to stop recording, and then he'd start recording again on the face of his mom or whoever. It was like, oh my God, wait, you're this. Like, the whole movie I was like, this could be better, which is good.
Well, it's like
it wasn't irredeemable. No. I wanted it to be exciting and scary and all those things, and it was just
imagine, like you said, imagine that taking place now, same scene, same scenario, and everybody pulls out their phones, right?
Right.
It's like it's done. But you have one guy and they go, "Oh, you got that thing strapped to your head. Oh, I didn't know you had a beard until I saw it behind the camera." But like you guys are saying earlier, the best part of it was when you listen to what's going on, like the actors that are acting around the fact, that's what I was fascinated by. Like the mother talking to the sister-in-law on the side and some of the side stuff that's going on that seemed it made it feel like this is actually real.
Well,
because they were natural. The naturalistic acting of some of the actors in here made it feel like this actually could be somebody just holding a VHS camera. And when he does that thing at the beginning where he gets a close-up on the fork on his plate, right? It's like the director knew the things that would make it feel real and played those. Now it gets off into when they're running through the woods, and you're right, there's 2 minutes of just black and people, doing their thing. And in our eyes right now, you just can't buy it. I mean, but I'm also surprised that you would consider this like a cult. I get it. But what I was expecting in this film was like limbs coming off and
No.
This is
I kind of went antithetical to what you're expecting.
that's good. I guess
Like
that's good.
I fully realized that this movie's boring. It was hard for me to watch a second time, but when I watched it the first time, like I was kind of engaged with it. It does drag, but I found the experiment to be interesting.
Well, I love that you said maybe we should talk about another film and not just this one.
All right.
And I'm like, no, I think we can talk a lot about this one. Just break it down. But so has this guy done anything else other than the film he did, Alien? I think it's called Alien Abduction. What else has he done? Anything?
I don't think so.
So this is his canon. That's fine. Well, anything else we want to say about this film?
Do you guys think that one of you could pull the audio of him moaning? I would like to make that a ringtone.
I definitely could. There's no question about that.
I would like to see it. I would like to see a counter of how many times he says "oh shit," because it's got to be at least
a lot.
It's a ton. He did that a ton, and like I don't know whether I liked like there's so much. I just couldn't get past the fact. Just put the camera down. You shouldn't do that.
Well, that's the conceit of the whole thing. There's nothing like the Cloverfield is the same way.
I was just gonna say exactly. I said it. I felt exactly the same way in Cloverfield.
Yeah.
Just put it down, but then the movie's over. So what's the point?
Well, that's why some of these movies, it's easier storytelling wise to say this is found footage from a variety of sources. Like District 9 is one of my favorite movies. It's
that's
not
a good point.
It's not a found footage film, but the beginning and the end are talking head interviews and news clips and things like that. So you can follow Vicus around looking at here's somebody shot a video of his retirement party, and here's somebody who's got a picture of him walking into a restaurant, and it's a security camera. When it's just one person, I mean, unless you kill the cameraman, they pass the camera to somebody else. I mean, there's not a lot.
I guess that's a good point. If there were multiple, if we're back to if they had cell phones, there'd be other versions, there'd be other angles of what's going on. But the one guy, you're sitting there going, just put it down. Your mother's begging you to put this there.
Yeah, I'm about to make a ridiculous statement, but
really? Shocker.
Yeah. So if you go to journalism school for like photography or videography, don't they teach you not to put the camera down? Like if you're at a war and you're covering something, you gotta like back up. Keep filming.
Let me just back up. I shoot all the time. Okay, if I'm in a house, if I'm in a house and I'm shooting, and my mother's in peril or my niece is in peril, you don't think I'm throwing that thing down? I'm going to help them out? No,
wait. What if you had to choose? You could only save your niece or your mom. Who would you choose?
So it's like a Sophie's Choice type deal.
It's like a Saturn's Choice type deal.
Well, at that point, I think I would keep the camera on my shoulder. No, it's
right. See, because it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
So maybe he kept the camera. Maybe he kept the camera to protect himself from the danger that was in front of him.
No, if I'm wearing
because there would be no movie.
If I'm wearing Google glasses, right, and I can just turn these things on and I can help. Now I'm covered, but he's got this. They didn't show it, but I know it's one of those giant VHS cameras.
Oh yeah, no, they said. Yeah.
Well, you can see it in it. Like you'll see his shadow on the wall.
They do a couple mirror shots.
I
know. Yeah. But I kept looking, like Drew was saying. I kept waiting. He panned. Yeah. And I go, I want to see an alien run by. I want to see something happen to freak me out. And they did none of that. So, anyway, all right. Well, good choice. Not so great choice.
I think it's cult movie by its history and its appeal.
I think
it's watching
exactly the lore. I think the lore behind it, which I only knew because you guys made me watch this one. Mm-hmm. So I look back and now, this lore behind it. I had no idea. Now I do want to watch Alien Abduction. I'm going to find out. I'm going to watch it. No lie, it made me want to.
I don't know where to find that one.
Yeah, I have no idea if I can find it. Do you own Alien Abduction? His next film after this one?
The remake.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, how am I going to see it?
What I was going to say is I think a lot of cult films in particular, it's not because the movie is good. It's because the story is crazy of how they made the film and the circumstances around
I think that was my point. My point was I
think that this is one of those cases.
Yeah. What I realized was it's more about the backstory of the film and the fact that the warehouse burned and the VHSs were left and some alien, remember in the 90s and 80s, those alien abductions where they'd show the autopsies of the aliens.
Right.
So I'm sure these things were all over that. That's interesting in its own, but if we're going to break down the film sucks.
Yeah.
It's not even a film. It's 63 minutes. Do I call that a film? I don't know. Maybe I do.
Isn't a feature supposed to be at least 70? But, it doesn't follow the rules. It's real.
It's real.
That's
All right. All right.
Look, I think what I would say is to Uncle Al, this is a crappy movie that I'm really glad you brought.
Well, I think we're going to say that. I think so far I've enjoyed all the films.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this one. I didn't like it. I did enjoy it. I liked researching it. I wanted to see other stuff. So I think this is interesting because I never in a million years, when you guys talk about cult films, and I know Al's like his vision of cult films or stuff that I know there's going to be a couple that are going to freak me out a little bit. I know that. I'm not, but I'm
just
enjoying
priming you for the.
I know you just go. Oh, I'm going to feel safe, and all of a sudden it's going to be Cannibal Holocaust or some crazy shit.
I'm not watching that one.
Nah, we can skip that one.
Okay,
I don't
good.
do that. I don't do the kill the real animals thing. Otherwise,
can't do that.
I saw
all
it
right.
once.
So
That
having
was
said that, we're going to move on to the next portion of the podcast called 2x4.
2 movies, 4 words, brought by Uncle Al and Drew.
Crime Cleaners Girl. Okay, give me the next one, please. We got Crime Cleaners Girl Tale, Divorce Berlin Spy Doppelganger. I'm going with number 2, Divorce Berlin. Oh no, is this another Uncle Al? All right, so now here's what happens. Is this an Uncle Al?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it
All right,
is.
what's the name of the film?
It is called Possession.
Oh God Almighty! All right, so here's what we
And
do.
it is special, Ralph. If you,
Okay.
you thought this one was the one I just
Okay.
picked was boring, this is not boring.
I will
So
say
now-
I have not seen that film, and it's been on my list for a while, so I am looking forward to this.
All right, good. So here's what we're gonna do, because we're trying to be fair on this one. Drew has lost a few times. I'm sorry, Drew. I don't know what I'm doing. Doesn't matter. Might be the words, might be the position. So now we take 2 of your films for the next show, and you give me 4 words for your 2 films, and I'll pick one of those. Sound
Okay.
good?
That sounds good to
so
me.
the next one, that's what we'll do.
All right.
And then
thank you.
after that, we'll do some theme things. But let's stick with this one. I want to get one of Drew's.
So basically, if I think that's a good rule going forward. If one of us is a 3-time loser, then the 4th round is a gimme.
Well, we don't
And
call
I'm
it a
a
loser.
3-time
We call it
loser.
not a loser. We said not decided on. I'm not trying to call it a loser because I can't.
I don't
wait
know.
to
I
see
think
what you think.
a cult film about a podcast who embraces its loserness. I mean, there could be something there.
Might be big. Listen, I could walk around with a camera all night long if that's what you guys want. Never drop it. So here we go. Divorce, Berlin, Spy, Doppelganger. I love the accent, the little umlauts over the A. And
This
there's
is,
Uncle Al.
That was
this
Uncle
is
Al
actually
being
probably
nice.
in my top 5
Oh, really?
Time.
Top
Okay.
5 what? Movies of all time or cult
Yeah.
films?
all time.
Can you tell me who directed this one?
Sure, I don't
Can you
know how to
pronounce
say his
it?
name. I'll just say it's Andrei Sulawski.
Is this a Russian film?
He's
Polish.
Polish.
Oh, my God.
Like the lore.
So I can't wait to see that. Is that one? Okay, never mind. All right. Well, there you go. So the Possession next week, right?
Yep.
That's right.
I can't wait.
And this
Gentlemen?
is a 2-hour feature, so
Oh,
Prepare
you know what?
strap in.
I got to admit, the 90-minute, but I was literally like, I'm halfway through going, oh, shit, I got another 45 minutes of it. It's only 90 minutes. Come on. So, fantastic. I can't wait can I wait to watch The Possession? Am I going to enjoy it?
Oh, you're
Yeah,
gonna love it, Ralph.
Oh, my God. All right. Can't wait. Drew,
There is a
I
lot to
can't
talk
wait.
about the movie, though.
Honestly, I can't wait for the next 2x4 pick from you. Honestly, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but this is the way it is. So
The words speak to you, and you don't know who they're from. So we'll take our chances every time.
this is funny. It's going great. All right. So until next week, you guys have a safe week. Enjoy some cult films, and we'll see you soon. Okay.
See you guys. Thank you.
See ya.
All right.